did this right yesterday.
Yes, Peru.
Mhm. So now the next one is Pathin Mathin Vibhukshan Ityesham Nasya Harah Sau. Uh, the final na of the words Pathin, Mathin, and Vibhukshan is deleted when su follows. Hmm. Namantasana. Okay. Pathyadinam Iramasya Ramah Krishna Sthane Thatpurvam Nukcha. The Iram of the words Pathin, Mathin, and Vibhukshan changes to Arama when a Krishna Sthana follows. And the Agamanug is inserted before the tha of the words Pathin and Mathin. Yes. So we have Pathin Yukta Su. So 263 with Pathin Mathin Ribhukshan Ityedesham Nasya Harasau Na Rama is deleted. Then 264 Pathyadinami Ramasya Arama. Pathyadinami Ramasya Arama Krishna Sthane. So Patha That Purvam Nukcha. Then we insert Nuk before Tha Ram of Pathin and Mathin. So this is Pathin. So Na Ram before Tha. And now actually we could have inserted if I don't think so. What is that sutra? We insert not. Uh,
Vamana Gopi Radhavyo Nudami.
no.
Everything else is Noom, isn't it? I don't know of another sutra that
Oh
would
yeah.
insert Nut.
How do you insert that nom? Like in Mahad.
Sarveshwara Vaishnavantayor Noom Shah.
Mm, yeah. It's okay. That is different. So in this case, it's Nuk. So Kidagamaha, Kidagama Parasmandi, Kidagama Purva Samandi. So Panthas, then 230. Avishnupadanasya Nasyamasya Cha Vishnu Chakram Vaishnava is applied because Narama is there and then a Vaishnava is following. So it becomes Vishnu Chakra. And again, Vishnu Chakra Sarivenu Vishnu Varga Vishnu Padanta Setuva Panthas and then Sararama Vishnu Sargo Vishnu Vishnu Sargo Vishnu. Pantha.
Antaka is a singular word, is it? It's a
I'm sorry.
Antaka is a Ekavachanam, is it?
Yeah, this is Ekvachanam, 1 1. This is we should not misunderstand it as like Krishna plural.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's why we just by seeing the final forms it's quite difficult to identify the case because Krishna and Pantha look similar.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's very much needed that we know the roots. Okay. Let me ask, what is the root of this question is for who Vijay Prabhu. What is the root of the word Ashwathama?
Ashwathaman.
Okay, so you know. I didn't know that. Like when I was reading, I was like, wow, Ashwathama. So yes, so like that. Panthaha, Panthano. Pathyadinam Sansara Haro Bhagavati. What is Sansara?
Krishna. No. Antya Sarveshwara Adivarna Samsara Sangyaha.
Yeah. Antya Sarveshwaradi Varna Sansara Sangyaha. The sansara of the words Pathin, Mathin, and Vibhukshan is deleted when a Bhagavat follows. Pathin Yukta Shas, so in is deleted. Pathaha, Patha, then Namantasena Sahara Vishnu Vedante Buddham Vina is applied. Yes. So Pathibhyam, Pathivihi, Pathe, Pathibhyam, Pathibhya, Patha, Pathibhyam, Pathibhya, Patha, Patho, Patham, Pathi, Patho, Pathishu. Patha, Pantha, Panthano, Panthana. Panthastu Koti. Do we have something like that in Brahma Samhita?
Yeah, Pantas, Satavatsara Sampragamyo.
Yeah, so we have panthas there. So yes, like that. Uh, we gave some homework yesterday, I think so. What was that?
Yajvan.
Yajvan and Sudharman. No one did that?
I became quite busy with work yesterday. I was planning to do it today.
I was
Okay.
looking for it this morning. I couldn't. I missed that note. I couldn't remember which were the words.
Okay, means Prabhuji is kindly mentioning every time.
Yeah, it's helpful. It's helpful to have that. I couldn't. I missed that. I didn't see
No
it.
problem. Mhm. Okay, Mathin. So yes, same way. 263 Pathin Mathin Rebhukshin Tesham Nasya Rasau. And then Patyadinam Ilamasya Ramaha Krishna Sthane. Buddhamina?
Yes.
Tat Purvam Nukcha.
Tat
Oh,
Purvam
Tat
Mukcha.
Purvam Nukcha.
The endings of the sutras, they are like, a bit confusing sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they get mixed up.
Yeah, for me
Yeah.
at least, like since the beginning.
Yeah, it's also
so,
happening for me.
so Tat Purvam Nukcha, so Matha, Yukt Su, and then Nuk, Tat Purvam Nukcha, and Manthas, the same, then Vishnu Vinasa, Vishnu Vinata Sanasana Sutta Vishnu Vaishnava, and Vishnu Chakra Sariveno Sarvamantha. Of course, Radha Vishnu Janabhyam. No. What is that? Deletion of Su. Radha Vishnu Janabhyam Pashya Tirikunath Sor Haraha.
Yeah.
After this. Then Manthano, Mathaha. Like this word. So, yes. So, this is one of your homework today, Mathin. Rebhukshin is deletion of na. Pathin Mathin Rebhukshin Tedesham Rasau. Then Rebhuksha. Rebhuksha Patyadinami Ramasya Rama Krishna Thani Thaturam. No. Yeah, Thaturam Nukcha. Because Rebhuksha doesn't have tha, so Nuk doesn't apply here. And then, what is the current sutra? Patyadina Sansara Haram Bhagavati is for. So like Ribhuksha, Ribhukshana, Ribhukshana, ityadi. So you may also do this, I don't know. Now the next word is okay. Now first of all, we just complete the words. Ribhuksha, Ribhukshana, Ribhukshana, Ribhukshanam, Ribhukshanam. What would be 2, 3 here? Anyone?
Ribuksha.
Yeah, like Pathaha, so Ribhuksha. So Ribhuksha, Ribhuksha, Ribhukshibhyam, Ribhukshibhyah, Ribhukshe, Ribhukshibhyam, Ribhukshibhyah, Ribhuksha, Ribhukshibhyam, Ribhukshibhyah, Ribhukshah, Ribhukshib, Ribhukshoh, Ribhuksham, Ribhukshi, Ribhuksho, Ribhukshishu, then Ribhukshah, Ribhukshana, Ribhukshana. Next word is Shangin. One who has the bow named Shang. Shang. It's quite difficult to pronounce this. Shang. Shang. Because we have 3 conjunct consonants. Shang. It cannot be Sharang. Generally, people they pronounce it as Sharang, but
Mhm.
it's not Sharang. It's Shang. Name of Krishna. So, in Han Pushan Aryamanitesham Uddhavasya Trivikramaha Sushyoreva. So the Uddhava of words ending in and the Uddhava of the words Han, Pushan, and Ariman becomes Trivikrama only when Su or She follow. So Shangin is a word ending in So yes.
Okay,
So,
just wondering, we have the Sutra 260 Namantasya Nasya Haro Vishnu Padante, right?
Okay.
Why there is a separate sutra for Patin Matin that na is getting deleted?
Patin Matrin Bhukshi Ityatasham Nasya Harasau. This one?
Yeah, why this has to be there? Because
No.
Because
There, one difference is it says Vishnu Padante and here it says when
Yeah.
Su for.
so the Vishaya is not there. Thank you.
Means, yeah, there is the Vishaya and here we have Paranimitta, Su.
Oh,
Means that's a major difference we can see.
Prabhu,
Yeah.
still if it is Su is coming, I don't understand. How is it that Vishaya cannot be there? It will be by default if you are saying Su comes in, then it should be Vishnu Padanta only, right? It cannot be obviously in the middle of a sutra.
No, but you have something different here, huh? Because it's not Vishnu Padante. Because we didn't
Yeah.
make it. We don't delete Su with this one. We keep Su because we need a Visarga on Pantaha.
Yes.
No, there
Yes.
I did not get it fully.
Here, see, here Su is not deleted. Su is used in Pantha, the final form.
But where is Su getting it?
In the other ones, we delete
In
it.
other ones, Su is deleted. Like if you say Mahatu, Bhagavatu, and like other words. So
Or Atman.
Mahatu we get Mahan, Bhagavatu we get Bhagwan. So Su is deleted by Radha Vishnu Janabhyami Pashchatritma Saurara.
Yeah. Or Atman, where you would use this Namantasya Nasya Haro Vishnu Padante
Yes.
Vidambina. Su is also deleted.
So there Su is deleted because in the final form it's not required, means, and
How Su is deleted there? That is deleted by a different sutra, right?
I'm sorry?
Su
is deleted by a different sutra, right? Not by the Namanta.
No, we apply, what is it, Atman,
Radha Vishnu
and then
Janabhyami.
Nantu Dhatu Varjita Santa Satsanga, Atman, then Radha Vishnu Janabhyami Pushchatri Vikramat Haraha, and then Namantasya Nasihro Vishnu Padante Vidambina Atma. So Su gets deleted.
But here, Su doesn't get deleted not because of 263, right?
No, not at all.
No,
Then-
not because of 263.
So if my point is, if 263 sutra itself is not there, we can arrive at the same forms, right?
No, we cannot, because if this
Because
sutra
you
is
have to
not
delete Su in order to. Sorry, Guru, there's a lag. Go ahead.
yeah, means just the point that if this sutra doesn't exist, then this sutra is specially mentioning that the na rama of these three words is deleted when Su remains as a paranimitta.
Yeah.
So if this sutra is not there, then what will happen is then we will apply this sutra, Namantasya Nasya Haro Vishnu Padante. And then what will happen is, okay, Pathin. Yukta Su. If we do not apply Pathin Mathin Vibhukshin Ityatasham Nasya Haraso, then we will apply Namantasya Nasya Haro. First of all, actually, we will delete
Radha
this
Vishnu
sutra,
Janabhyam.
Radha Vishnu Janabhyam, very simple.
Yeah.
And then we will apply Namantasya, first of all, Nanta Dhatu Varjita Santa Satsanga Mahadapam. Okay, we can even do this.
Yeah,
Let's
we would
see.
do that first.
First,
then
and then
delete
we
Su.
delete. So this would be the form in that case.
Prabhu,
Yeah.
let's say the other way, right? Patin plus Su, let's say that Patin plus Su. Let's not apply that Radha Vishnu Janabhyam yet, right?
Yeah,
That's
then
what
it
he
becomes
just
this.
said. Yeah.
No,
And
let's
then-
not delete it yet, Prabhuji.
Okay, it is here. Then
I'm saying you can delete the Namantasya Nasya Haro Vishnu Padante.
Well, you
No,
can't
but how-
because you have to delete Su to do that. Because it has to be
Why?
Vishnu Padante. It's not
But we
Vishnu
have
Pada.
the Purvasya Vishnu Padavat Swadi Taditayor Ayasarveshwaradhyoho.
Swadi Taditayor Ayasureshwaradyoho.
It's not a Sarveshvara.
Aya Sarveshwara, A Sarveshwara.
Well, we have to look at the sutra as to why that doesn't apply to Su.
Oh.
Because
Okay,
then
okay.
then the
Let's
question
consider
would be
let's consider this, like which Prabhuji is saying, that we consider this as Vishnu Pada by that sutra, because okay, that sutra could be applied because it's saying Aya Sarveshwara Adyo, A Sarveshwara, and this is not Sarveshwara. So we apply that sutra, then we apply Namanta Senasya Vishnu Padante, right?
Yes. And
And then so is there. Then what would be the next?
I mean, remaining steps, whatever given in 264.
Yeah, please tell what is next.
I don't remember on top of my head, Prabhuji.
No, you can look here 264 this.
Yeah, one second, I'm just opening.
where is this? What is that sutra?
Now it says Irama. This is Vamana Irama. Now we have changed it to Dirghai, so it doesn't fit here.
Yeah.
So means it's quite systematic. That's why it comes
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a.
I understand that Jiva Goswami would not give it without any reason. I'm just thinking through it so that I understand it correctly, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please take your time.
Vanaswati, the Prakritis. We also need to figure, because the question you're raising also works for if we were just doing Atman, not only this Patin thing.
Okay.
Why isn't Purdvasya Vishnu Padavatam Swadi Tirithaya Ayasaresharadyoho applied to Atman Yukta Su? When the Swadi or Tadita Pratyaya that doesn't begin with Ya or Sarveshwara follows the Prakriti is treated as if it were a Vishnu Pada.
I mean, like when we had Bhyam, then we applied that sutra to words like Atman and all. Okay.
Yes.
Purvasya Vishnu Pada. Now, in the case of Su, when we can have Vishnu Padanta in a natural way by deleting Su, then why to bring that sutra is like an imposition sutra. That sutra is imposing a non-Vishnu Padanta Shabda to be a Vishnu Padanta. But when in 1-1, when we can simply delete Su and can make the word into a proper Vishnu Pada.
I
So,
found exactly what you're saying in the Samshodhani just now.
Where it is, Prabhu?
In Samshodhani to that sutra, this is on page, those pages aren't numbered, but just before 247. One should not make the mistake of treating the Prakriti like a Vishnu Pada when Su follows, because Su always gets deleted by Radha Vishnu Janabhyam Ipashchatri Vikramat Sodharaha, and then the Vishaya is naturally Vishnu Padanta. Indeed,
Yeah,
Jiva
means
Goswami himself makes this clear by first making Pratyan, etc., etc. So basically, like you're saying, we apply Radha Vishnu Janabhyam Ipashchatri Vikramat Sodharaha first because it comes first, and then so why apply a later sutra when
where
you
it
have
is.
this coming first?
This is 247.
Just above, the paragraph above 247,
Okay.
you'll see in the middle, one should not make the mistake.
Yeah, so it says here what I was saying.
Yeah.
The Visha is naturally Vishnu Padanta, it's naturally Vishnu Padanta. In case of when it is Bhyam and all, even Sup 7-3, we are imposing the Vishnu Padanta Upadhi to that word so that the sutra, so that the Karya could be applied, Karya could be done.
So, this is his commentary is saying like that. Indeed, Jiva Goswami himself makes clear this by first making Pratyang in Vritti 243, then only later introducing the sutra to make Pratyang. So then he should have given it back then. Prabhu, I did not understand this point. Like this point often comes. If this sutra were to be applied when Su follows, then he should have given it back then, right? So basically he's saying he should have given it at that point before using the word pratyang and so on and all. If I take a particular word, let's say ashwathaman, like how do I know, like this sutra is not given back then, because ashwathaman is a new word, right? Like I have to remember like which words were used in different sutras, vrittis. Is that my question clear, Prabhuji?
I think that only happened once with only one sutra, if I'm not wrong.
So
And
this one
in that,
I'm seeing
and
this.
in that one,
Okay.
just in that sutra, it was clearly mentioned that that particular sutra, which was that sutra, if anyone remembers, where it said that because it didn't appear before, so it didn't apply
Brahmata
to
Svamon
Brahma.
Mahaharaha. Brahmata
Yeah,
Svamon
Brahmata
Mahaharaha.
Samar Mahaharaha. Why didn't we
Yeah,
do this for
so
Gokula?
it clearly said that it doesn't apply to Brahma Krishna Shabdas. It clearly mentioned that, if you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, so means it's very clear, like means it could have been applied to even Brahma Krishna Shabdas, but it is not applied. It appears later, and in the Vritti or Sankshodhani or in Amrita, it says clearly that that sutra is not applied to Brahma Krishna Shabdas at all. So I think it's not like sometimes it's not bahula, sometimes it's applied, sometimes it's not applied, and so on. It's like a proper
Yeah.
rule that it's not applied to Brahma Krishna Shabdas. And so we had only
Are you talking about? Like it is not applied, you are saying? I'm not getting. Which sutra is that? Brahma Krishna Soram?
Brahma Krishna Soram.
Yeah, but he's saying that this Brahmata Samar Mahaharaha isn't applied to Brahma Krishnas because we already have a sutra for Brahma Krishnas. And then it, and then in the Vritti, they say that because the sutra wasn't given back then, we don't apply it to the word Gokula, even though it's a Brahma.
But that is we can take it as Antaranga rule, right? Brahma Krishna Soram, that is more specific than Brahmataha Samar Mahaharaha.
He gives two reasonings, but his second reasoning is that, well, it wasn't given back then, so we can't apply it. That's in the
Yeah,
Vritti
that
or
is what
Jivita
is quite
Swami.
difficult for me to accept it, because given back then means I have to remember the like where the words are formed, or how is that when I completely a new word I'm taking, right? Existing word what he has given is I'm okay to understand, but I'm just saying new word if I take whether this word should appear here or here, how do I know?
I think if
unless
you just think about
yeah.
the order of the sutras also, it's just a question of the order of the sutras. There's a logic behind that.
Yeah, that's why it's also useful to make sure we're memorizing them systematically in order, because there's a way they're presented, right? And there's a logical flow. Like he even goes alphabetically in his presentation. Like
Yes,
he
very
starts
much.
with then then E, and then he goes through all the consonants. He's doing that now.
Right.
Mhm.
Like
So
we just have to like remember where we are contextually.
if you are let's say the Gokula, now let's say another word, right? Something else ending with a, which is a Brahmalinga. Now you are the Brahmata Somor Mahaharaka is later, and we have Purva Paravidyo with Yoho, I think, Paravidhi Balavan, right? So are you saying that because in that is not applicable here, right?
I don't know. I don't understand the question.
What was that, Balavan, Prabhu? You're mentioning that phrase that came up in the Idvanameva Yasarveshvare.
Yeah.
The phrase
Vritti?
is Purva Parayoho. No, sorry.
So the
Uh,
previous is stronger than the Purva Parayo. It's not
no,
Purva
Purva
Parayoha, huh?
Parayoho Paravidhi Balavan.
The later sutra is stronger.
Yeah, so that is not applicable there, right? You are asking to remember the
Well, it
order.
can't be applicable there because here it says Brahma Krishnat. So that's a specificity that
Yeah, right.
applies. So you
So,
can't apply Brahmata Samar Mahaharaha when you have a specific thing for Brahma Krishnas.
right now, my argument is not
Overrides it.
against that. My argument is against remembering the order of the sutras, because the order of the sutras is not helpful there as well, because this maxim is
But it is helpful in other places.
like,
Well, I mean, because you have the things grouped together, isn't it? You have every sutra for a particular word grouped together.
Yeah. It's like you're fighting for a case, two pakshas.
That's interesting.
And yeah, it's
I'm
good.
just thinking that
That-
if I mean something. I mean, if you
Means
think.
okay, Vijay Prabhu, you can be more specific. Like now we are discussing a general thing or
Yeah,
some
I
principles.
actually went into different
I
direction.
think you can be more specific. Means you can give some word, some pratyaya, which you are like thinking should be, because you gave Pathin, Yukta Su, and we dealt with it.
yeah, that was my
So
next question.
yeah,
Was
so we
how does that apply here to
yeah we did
Patin?
this. Now you can give another example which stuck in your mind and is not clear, because if we discuss generally, then that discussion could be endless.
Correct,
You
correct,
know?
correct. I think so. That is a side discussion, probably. I mean, I think
I think side discussion
because
would look
when you
like
showed that point, it says it was not applied at that point. That was the point of contention. That how come I have to remember, or what is the logic there? Because different words are introduced at different places, and he says the word, because the sutra was not introduced for that particular word, it should, this sutra should not be applied. That was the logic, right? So, for example, the Gokula plus Su, he says Brahmataga Somor Maharaga. One of the arguments, not the only argument, one of the arguments he gives is that Brahmataga Somor Maharaga should not be applied because it was not introduced back then when the Gokula word is being derived, right? So, this is just for the Gokula word. How about another word which is also Brahmalinga and ending with A? I have to remember that, oh, Gokula was derived there. I should not apply this.
Well, Gokula represents all of those. It represents all Brahma Krishnas. So it doesn't just mean the word Gokula. It means Vachya, it means Vakya, any Pala, any Brahma Aramanta word is a Brahma Krishna.
Yeah, right. So my point is, I should remember this point that Gokula word or any Brahma Krishna word is derived in this particular sutra, and then I have to only apply that logic if I have to apply, not the Antaranga Vidhi.
Well,
Antaranga
isn't
Vidhi,
isn't that isn't that how we're doing everything? Like these are all representations. Like these are all words that represent an entire class of words. And so
yeah.
you apply the sutras you learned for the one to all the rest, unless you get sutras for exceptions. Why
I
would
don't
you?
remember the examples of sutras, Prabhuji. I remember only the sutras.
But we're supposed to, aren't? That's part of it. That's why they're in the vritti.
Is that that's my point? That seems to be very complicated. That's not my point.
No, means like if we were only supposed to do the sutras, then we wouldn't have touched the vrittis and these examples. And I think
Yeah.
sutras are meant to explain all these forms. Means if we do not get the forms, what's the use of the sutras and the vrittis and all those
Forms
explanations?
I am good at it, but what form is used in the vritti? That also that means I have to memorize vritti as well, right? To
Actually,
Well,
ideally, we are supposed to memorize even the vrittis. Ideally, because in my school, my teacher asked me to memorize the vrittis completely, and when he saw that the students, made their bad expressions, so we memorized vrittis for sangya and for sandhi and even for shabda prakaran to some extent. And in Karaka also we memorized vritti to some extent. So ideally we are supposed to memorize the vrittis even. So, but you know, nowadays that like we were discussing yesterday, just to memorize the sutras, the devotees are like,
yeah.
well, it also seems that the knowledge in the vritti sticks a lot easier if you memorize the sutra, and then you don't have to memorize the whole table. You just have to memorize the the prakriti, and
yeah,
then you can build the rest because you know the sutras. So it's like I know
So,
that for
I-
a Brahma Krishna, Gokula is the representative. I can build the table for a Gokula, therefore I have access to all the other Brahma Krishnas.
one more thing I would like to add is like my teacher told me personally that uh, the prakriya is the main thing we should remember. Prakriya is the process of
Yeah.
formation of the words. Now
Uh-huh.
what will happen is now we are memorizing the sutras, and sometimes we are memorizing some part of some vritti here and there, the main things. Now what will happen is if unless one is teaching to someone else, in due course of time, let's say in few months or in few years, we will very easily forget the sutras. It's like damn sure we will, unless we are teaching it.
Mhm.
So, and that's natural, and there is no harm if we forget the sutras. But what would be the use of memorizing the sutras right now and then forgetting? The main thing is that if we just keep in practicing the sutras. I mean, we know the prakriya, the process of formation, the process how the sutras are applied, how the elements of all the sutras are applied to form a particular word. So in due course of time, even though the sutras are not there in our brain, but the 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 prakriya will exist in our mind.
Hmm. Right.
I don't know if you're getting my point or not.
Yes, Prabhuji. That point I got it.
My teacher told me this very frankly, that it's very natural that the sutras may or may not be there in your brain for long, but the prakriya will stay, and the prakriya will only stay if we practice enough.
Mm.
If we do not practice enough and we just read in class and we do just one two words and we do not really put our full energy into it, then the whole thing will be gone. Because grammar is something which we study seriously only once. Means
Hmm.
you might be thinking sometimes, okay, well, I'll go through it second time and third time and fourth time, but it just remains in the mind, and we just studied seriously once, and then unless we are teaching, it's not going to happen again. So at the time of studying, if we are really putting the efforts, means the teacher will say, like, I try to say something, give some homework, try to say that you read some scriptures, that's my duty. Now you are doing or not, that depends on each individual. But if we do that, and if we go even beyond the instructions of the teacher, you know like
Yeah.
I said, okay, you read one page of Sanskrit each day, it will be good. Now if you are going beyond that, you are reading 2 3 pages, you are trying to do the anvayas, or something here and there, then the prakriya process will be uh, within our brains permanently.
I
So the
see.
prakriya is main, the sutras will vanish for sure, the impressions will stay.
Got it,
So,
Prabhuji.
this is very important. Vritti sutras, each and everything should be nicely understood when we are reading and should be applied very nicely. Then only the prakriya will stay. Now, after 10 years, because now you have understood Sandhi. Now, after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, even if you do not read the grammar again after doing this time, no one, you will never ever stuck somewhere anywhere in sandhi. You will easily undo the sandhis because the prakriya is fit in your brain now. It's like your permanent asset, our permanent asset. No one can remove it. Similarly, Krishna Shabda. Now, all of you know how the Krishna Shabda is made. So now, whenever in any scriptures, in the rest of your life, you will see forms like Ramena, Krishnena, this and that. You will immediately, oh, this is Trivan, Krishna Yuktata, then Krishna Taina, then Advamidvaye. Very gradually and very naturally, that sequence will follow up in your mind, very naturally. That is prakriya. Even though after few years you will not remember, okay, Krishna taina, but you will remember the elements, okay, Krishna plus ta, and like that. So so that is very important. The prakriya should remain, and if the sutras remain, then that's wonderful, if we teach and all. So like that, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. I got it.
I
I think
fully agree with it.
that I have to remember that vritti also it is little unsatisfactory.
The best thing is, like all of us read the whole commentaries on each sutra, beyond the class timings. So then things will be more clearer.
Yeah, that's what I'm also doing after the class. I'm reading through again and taking notes as well.
Yeah, the whole thing, the whole thing. So, yes. Anything else?
Sounds good.
Yeah, my brother
For
is
one
playing.
thing, though, in defense of the sutras, for my own sake, is that, you know, as we've seen with the Rore Lopya, Purvascha Tirakramaha in the Santi, and then also, you know, these a lot of these nouns, they're not intuitive, you know. So to have the sutras nicely memorized, it just seems that that would be necessary. But anyway, I appreciate your point.
I'm not like trying to underestimate the memorization of sutras. They are very much required, but it's just the natural thing that in due course of time, unless we are teaching, unless we are really into it, the intricacies of the grammar, the natural will very naturally vanish. So I'm not trying to underestimate or discourage from learning it, but I'm just telling the truth. That's the fact actually.
Yes, Prabhuji. I also know this.
Sure.
BBT is. I mean, one of the devotees who learned from the
Gopi Pranam.
Matsya Prabhu and Gopi Pranana Prabhu. He is also in a good position in our society, but he memorized sutras when he was studying. But now he says, I don't remember the sutras, but I know how to do it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm telling. Means, why shall I tell no? Once you remember the whole life, it will remain with you. Why shall I tell that when it is not like that? Means, I just told the fact and the truth.
Sure, Prabhu.
So,
Yeah, everything must be maintained if we want to keep it. That makes sense.
yeah. The best thing is we learn and we teach, then everything stays fresh. Okay, so where were we?
I think the last Patyadinam Sutra.
Okay, we were here,
Or no,
Shalini.
Sharngin, yeah.
Shalini. So, in Anpushana Rema Nitesham Uddhavasya Vikram Sushoreva. So yes, the Irama becomes Trivikrama by this sutra because it says Sushoreva, Su has to be there as Paranimitta, and E becomes Trivikrama, then Radha Vishnu Janabhyam, and then Namantasya Nasya Haroshan Padante, Buddhamina, and yes, Shangi, Sharanginam, Shanginam, and then Shangi, Naha, then all these like that. Shangina,
Yeah.
Shanginam.
Much more simple.
Yes.
Saranginam is quite interesting. It looks like a 6-3.
This one. No, it's
Saranginam.
not. It's not Nam. It's Nam.
Nam.
It's not Nam. Like 6-3 is like quite because it has Trivikrama. Then the words one Malin, one who has a garland of forest flowers, name of Krishna. Halin, one who carries a plow, name of Balarama. It should not be Bala. It should be Bala. Spelling mistake. Balaram. And Dandin, one who carries a staff, a sannyasi, are declined in the same way. So please do one malin. This is one homework. One malin. The Han referred to in this sutra is the dhatu Han hingsa gatyoho. So this is the dhatu from which the words like hanana, hanti, hatya, and what other words? Antum.
Hatha.
Yes. Hatha, even Gnatopi Madhusudana, Gnata.
Yeah.
That is also made from this word, root. So, yes. Jaganataha. So, like that. Thus, the word Kansa, Han, killer of Kansa, name of Krishna, is declined as follows. So, Vijay Prabhu, please add this one in the homework.
Yes,
One
I
more. Yeah. Okay. Kansahan is similar. So Kansahan Yukta Su. Then what is applied? Nanta Dhatu.
Nanta Dhatu Varjita Santa Satsangam Mahadapamadavasya Trivikramah Krishnastane Budam Vina.
Yeah, Kansahan, then Radha Vishnu Janabhyam, Navanta Sanasahara Ityadi. Kansaha, Kansahano, Hanaha, Hanam, Hano. Okay. If it was no, actually that sutra is not applied. In Han Pushan Ariman, this is applied.
Oh yeah.
Because it is specifically saying Han, so we have to consider this one. So in Han Pushan Ariman Ityesham Uddhavasya Trivikramaha, only when Su follows. So in Han Pushan Ariman Ityesham Uddhavasya Trivikramaha Sushareva. So Kansaha, Kansahano, Hanaha, Hanam, Hano. Then when Shas follows, A is deleted by Vama Satsanga Hina Syano Rama Haru Bhagavati Natu Yunyustua. So this is interesting. Okay, we are this is here. Ojapru got this. Hano Hasya Ghodinnayo. When Nit or Na follow, when Nit or Na follow, the Ha of Han changes to Gha. Okay. So we have Kansahan Yuktashas. So we apply Vama Satsanga Hina Syano Rama Haru Bhagavati Nantu Yangyatuva. The A Rama is deleted. Now here, when Nit or Na follow, so here Na Rama is following here.
Yeah.
So the Ha of Han changes to Gha Rama. So it changes to Gha and then Na is there. So Gna. So Kansa Gna Sararama. So like that, Kansa Gna. So this is the same sutra which would be applied to make Gnataha, you know. Han Yukta Ta in Kridanta. And so it would be Han Yukta Ta. And then Arama would be deleted. Ta. And then the same sutra. Hano Hasya Ghodinnayoha. Yes. So, and then there would be one more pratyaya here. Ghanata. Like that. So, Kansagna, Kansa Habhyam, Kansa Habhyam, Habhi, Kansagne, Kansa Habhyam, Habhya, Kansagna, Kansa Habhyam, Kansa Habhya, Kansagna, Kansa No, Kansa Gnam, Kansagni, Kansa. One is Kansagni, one is Kansahani, because it says Inyostuba, Kansagno, and Kansahasu, and Kansahan 81, 202. What is 202?
Radha Vishnu.
Yamana Ipascha Trivikramatsorharaha.
Yes, Radha Vishnu Nabhyam, Ipascha Trivikramatsorharaha, Kansahan, Kansahano, Kansahana. So like that. So this was something very much used. Yes. Then Pushan. Okay, well, let's stop here. Or we can do one word. So they are like, because it says in the Sutra in Han Pushana Riman. So they are just covering the words, mentioned in the Sutra. So they are now covering Pushan. So Pushan is also one word for homework. So just write the forms of this word. This is simple. Add Pushan Prabhu in the homework. And even add Aryaman. Just write the forms. No need to do the sadhana. Also, please add Aryaman also. Aryama, Aryamana, Aryamanaha. Yes, we'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll start to Panchan. Any questions? Anything? Any case to be solved in this judicial court? May the Lord bestow the intelligence upon the devotees, that the sutra style, the sutra based way only.
So probably going back to that question, the patin, right? So
Okay.
so I'm just understanding that if that 263 is not there, then in that case, then both the sutra na namantasya nasya haro vishnu padante as well as nant dhatu arjita sant sattanga magadapa buddhavasya trivikramaha. So both will have equal application and both will be applied. And to avoid the sutra namantasya nasya haro, sorry, namanta anta dhatu varjita santa satsanga magadapam. To avoid that sutra, then we need to have this 263, correct? Otherwise, we would be having patin, which is undesired form.
Mhm.
So that is a correct way, right? We don't want to avoid. We want to avoid that sutra.
See, one thing I also mentioned earlier, that it's not that grammar is first and the scriptures are second. No, scriptures are first, and the forms which are located in the scriptures, accordingly, grammar is made.
Right, right.
So if let's say Atma, the words like Atma, words like uh, uh, and so on, they have a particular formation, and words like this Pathin, Mathin, like Pantha, Mantha, Ityadi, they have a particular formation. So, so the grammarians, they have to separate the sutras, or yeah, to to come to that form. So the scriptures are first, the grammar is second, and the grammar follow the scriptures. So they make their sutras in a way that they attain to that form which is mentioned in the scriptures.
Correct.
So whatever is there, kartavyat vidhi. This is somewhere in vritti, if we have come right now.
So what is that?
Kartavyatvenopodesho vidhi, which means kartavyatvena upadesha vidhi. That vidhi means that that which is uh, that which is to be done, that
Right.
is which is instructed to us, and we cannot question it. We cannot question it. Doesn't just mean that it's like blind following, but sometimes it's just a matter of fact or matter of thing that we just have to do what is told. Kartavyatvenopodesho vidhi.
So my point is not in that into that direction. I'm not questioning how the grammar came or anything. My my question here is no, my point here is that if the Sutra 263 were not there, then we would be getting a different form for Patin, which is not
Yes,
the
yes.
form we wanted, because because of two sutras we have. Nanta Dhatu Varjita Santa Satsanga Magadapa Muddavasi Trimukramaha, which we don't want to apply here, right? If
Okay, okay.
263 were not there, then we are forced to apply that sutra. And that's
Yes,
why
yes,
in 263 is given.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Means 263 is given so that we can achieve to a particular form. If Patihi was the desirable form, like this one, then there was no need for Pathin Mathin
Correct.
reduction.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Look, got it. So it is just, I'm just thinking that it is just blocking the other sutra from being.
Yes, yes, that's for sure, Prabhu. Because it's very natural that if this sutra wasn't there, 263, then naturally we would have applied that sutra.
Correct. Yeah. Makes sense, probably. So that was my question as well, like why this sutra has to be there when Namanta Sinasya or Vishnu Padante. Makes sense,
We
probably.
also wouldn't have Patihi, right? Because we would have Radha Vishnu Janabhyam Ipascha Trivikramat.
No, no, Radha, Vishnu. No, that this is not Eep.
No, but we should have deleted Su when we had Patin, because it's still. How did we delete No without deleting Su? Oh, because of
Yes,
this.
yes, yes, yes.
Because of
Okay,
this.
then, yeah. I got it.
Yeah,
It
because
would
we
be
had to
Pati
apply
and
this Patin Matin Ribukshin Ityesham.
yeah, yes, yes. It would be Pati, of course, yes.
Okay.
Mhm. You're right. Bro.
Prabhu, so because you brought the other point, I have this question on the other point as well. Like you were saying, right? First, the scriptures, based on the scriptures, the grammar were written. So I had this question, like grammar is also Vedanga, which is part of Vedas, right? Initially, at least before being rewritten. So in that case, they also eternally exist, isn't it?
Part of Vedas means that part of Vedas itself gives the answers to your question.
Like I did not get it.
Part of Vedas means the Vedas are there and means the nirukta, the words and everything which is there in the Vedas, so is declined through grammar.
So I'm saying even the Vyakarana is also one of the Vedanga.
Yes, it is.
So in that case, then the rules and everything should be part of the Vedas itself.
Yes, that is.
Which
Then
means saying
that
that
is.
grammar did not come second. That's the argument I'm putting forward. I don't know whether it's correct or not. Because Jiva Goswami in Tattva Sandarbha says that the Vedangas are also part of Vedas. Even the Puranas were also part of it. They were extracted.
Yeah,
So,
he says that.
Yeah, that's the truth. Means I'm not denying that fact, but that was the point which I heard from my teacher, and
yeah, I have also heard this point many times that the grammar was written based on the words available, scripture, and so on. But just this argument was there in my mind, so I thought I'll ask.
Are you a lawyer, Prabhuji?
What is that?
Are you a lawyer? You are good at arguments. You should represent ISKCON debate.
Potential new career path, Prabhu.
I'm sorry?
A potential new career path. Anyway, I guess we can wait and see what is that vritti when we come to it. What we see there that you're referring to, Prabhu.
Okay. So, yes, so I'll think upon that point. One thing I like to say, please don't expect that I know everything. because whenever now you're asking me, it's like, okay, but for me, asking my seniors was like, wow. So many things are like, I also.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm just you because
So, please don't expect that your teacher is like a full Wikipedia or something.
no,
So,
Prabhuji, I'm just.
And I'm quite honest, like try to be honest whenever I'm like I don't know or I'm like half knowing something. So because I don't want to speculate. So I just heard from my teacher that grammar is made accordingly. So that's why many words are arsha, nipata, this and that, because
So I was just doing. I was just doing another theory also, this Arsha and these things and all. Initially, the Vyakarana was quite big and then it became much smaller now. So probably because we don't have all the rules, then those words became Arsha, Prayoga. I mean, nowhere it is said. I'm just speculating on the other direction. So,
okay, we'll allow you to speculate. No problem. Okay, anything else, Prabhuji? Otherwise, we'll stop today. I'm quite tired.